Welcome once, welcome twice, welcome in the name of Jesus Christ.
You stop doing what you normally do.
I'm gonna do it. Come on in the room.
Lord.
Come on in the room. Where my phone at? Jesus is my doctor.
You need to write you a prescription for another song.
No. My phone at?
How you? Is this it right here? I don't know what I'm doing.
See?
So I supposed to. Oh, no.
Oh, it's saying it's not. Oh, it's in my window.
What window? In your car? No. Well, while she finds her phone, that's what happens when you get old. You can never find nothing.
You gotta click on it so we can see if we
I'm
can
trying
hear
to find it.
it. Right here. Right here. Come on. Let me go to my car and get my phone. In the window.
Hey, you lie.
Oh, it definitely works.
You can tell when you get that
So when you
thing.
come in, tell us if tell us if what? Tell us you're here. Say hello.
Tell Angie that she's get the
Come on. Shut up, Cedric. Come on in the room.
Lord have mercy.
Jesus is my doctor. Writes out all of my scriptures. Hey, Terrence. Thanks.
They shouldn't let old people use technology.
Whatever. They should let somebody assist prior to. Like, come on. Come on and tell us hello. I cannot with you on tonight.
Hey,
All right, come on, y'all. Y'all gotta come on in and tell
you
us.
need to lean back
Tell us
too.
what set you claim, where you from.
The way my back set up.
You got checking and saving?
Yeah, I can't be spending all my checking leaning forward all night.
Really?
Right. And my back be hurting for the rest of the night. Messing with y'all.
Who's y'all?
I'm talking about lean bike. Lean bike. Lean bike. Me right here. Like this.
Yes.
Right there.
So extra. Come on in and let us know where you're from, what set you claim, and all of the good stuff. I know it's 4 days before Christmas. Has anybody completed their shopping? Are you still shopping?
I'm done.
You ain't started.
Exactly.
Right. Look, Terrence said, don't fall back.
I'm leaning forward.
Father, listen, I just want to know, don't start that Richmond Heights, Florida mess. Now, I keep telling you, we're not from Richmond Heights.
I'm from Richmond Heights, Florida.
Well, but you're not speaking on behalf of Cedric Thomas. That's behalf of Black Love.
I go to my page and put it.
You don't even know how.
Watch me. Bam. I'll go right here.
Anyway,
Now go right here.
give everybody time to come on in.
Oh, no.
Tell us where you're from. What set you claim.
Boom. Look at that.
Let me see. Let me see. I don't think you know how to do it. All right, y'all ain't telling us who in the room tonight. Y'all in here, but you ain't telling me nothing. Say hello. We gonna get to it. Let's do it. We give people a few minutes to come on in. Although I'm trying to figure out.
That's still from that ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
You struggling, Jay. Hey, hon. Okay, so we got
Hold on.
Laura from Indiana. All right.
Hold on.
Is it cold in Indiana? Cause it's cold here to me. Well, not to nobody. It's not cold to anyone else but me, but I'm cold. And
Okay, I don't know how to do it. I went out and went back in on my thing, but it keeps saying from the you did that, didn't you?
I didn't do nothing. Bontrail, where you from, Bontrail? Hello, welcome.
Yes, huh?
Welcome. Look, Lord say it's cold. Listen, I know they talk about me because I'm cold everywhere. When I say everywhere, everywhere.
That's what it is.
Jacksonville, Florida. Duval. No, baby. You just stop struggling with your life, okay? All right. All right. Let us know who's in the room. I see we got Indiana, Jacksonville,
Richmond Heights. Yeah.
You know it's one of those days. So everybody has their Christmas shopping done? Or are y'all still in the fight them store lines?
Amazon.
Or are you Amazoning it?
Amazon.
But now, depending on what you select, it's saying it's not going to be here after Christmas, like before Christmas.
After Christmas.
What? It won't be here till after Christmas.
Oh, shoot.
You know what? I can't deal. So tonight we have a wonderful topic that was requested about communication, and so we were trying to give people a few minutes to come on in because y'all black people be fashionably late.
A few minutes.
And then they come in like, hey, y'all started already? What y'all talking about? So anyway, let me put tonight's topic up.
What is tonight's topic?
Is there such thing as too much communication? BLU game. So,
is there such a thing?
Is there such a thing? Because everybody says, if you ask everybody what it takes to make a marriage work, they all say communication.
Right.
And that is, I don't care where you at, communication. Oh, we don't communicate. Or, oh, he doesn't communicate. Or we don't communicate well. So.
Well, they don't say how much communication.
Right, but I'm saying when you go any kind of conference, anything you watch, they always say communication. Mm-hmm. The lack thereof, how you communicate, the tone. So how do you? Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, the purpose of communication is what?
To convey a particular message or sentiment.
Well spoken. But in marriage, it's not always just one thing. You're trying to convey your flow, I guess it would be like. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to convey who you are, and it's not just one sentence or one conversation. It's a series. It's a play.
A play? A play is a series?
I mean, you know how like Emma's gonna play. I mean, like I would say a sitcom.
Okay.
Because a movie, you got to start to finish, and then this is over. You got a happy ending. But in a TV series or a sitcom, like I like Chicago PD, Chicago Fire. Every week it's evolving, and if you go back to season 1, you didn't know who the people were. They didn't know who they were. They were. You thought some people was mean, some people was nice. Some people was shady. As it evolved, you see people changing. You see people saying stuff that you couldn't. You knew something was going on with them, but you couldn't quite tell what it was.
So the characters are being developed.
Right. So in a marriage, characters are being developed.
Right. But it's real
life. And sometimes you have characters because sometimes, most of the time, people don't present them their real self.
Right.
Because what if you married me because of whatever, but you might not really like who I am.
Because I put my best foot forward.
Because I gave you a representative.
Right, a facade.
Hey, Brandy.
What up, though?
What if your mate don't communicate? What would cause this? Okay, so we're going into that. Who is that? Okay.
Cara.
Okay, we're gonna get to that, Cara. So we're talking about in a marriage, we are we are correlating it to a TV series, no, a sitcom or a TV show. Because in the beginning of the show, they introduce the pilot is what they call it.
Right.
The pilot is where they introduce you to the main characters.
Correct.
Now, in the beginning, they're trying to give you a little bit, just enough to connect with the character, like or dislike the character,
Right.
and then they build on that. Some characters leave, some characters they add more people, but they develop. And so what we're saying is that we're correlating marriage to that, because in the beginning there is just
in the
beginning there's a game. Like, I know what I represented to Cedric was not who I am all the way.
So you were just lying.
No, but me being outspoken and loud and all that stuff, I was her. But there were some intricacies that I did not bring to the forefront.
Right.
Because if I would have brought me and my U-Haul of baggage, you'd be like, I'll pass.
So you were hiding who you were just to get me trapped. Oh, shoot.
I was trapping you?
You talking about you were hiding who you was. Hold on, let's pause this and talk for a minute.
Stupid. So when I met Cedric, I gave him a representative of me. And so most people do that when they meet somebody. They show them a representative, because everybody has baggage. Some people might have one suitcase, two suitcases. Some people have a moving truck. I had a moving truck. Two of them.
You had the big one.
But the funny thing is, I didn't know I had a moving truck. It didn't unpack as we went along.
Well, and the crazy part was that it wasn't continual unpacking, right?
Mm-hmm.
That nothing was unpacked for quite a while, and then a whole lot got unpacked, and then we stopped unpacking again, and then some more. You know what I mean? It was sporadic.
So do you think it was sporadic because that's all we can handle, or is it just as the situations come, they were unpacking?
I think it was both. Well, not as you.
Don't do that.
Because you have to admit where you are to deal with it. If you don't,
but you had baggage too.
But we weren't talking about my baggage. We're talking about yours.
Well, we're talking about our baggage, though.
Keep my name out your mouth.
Well,
your stuff.
Our baggage.
Yeah, I didn't have no big U-Haul. I just had a little trailer with mine.
Your trailer was weighted down with bricks, though.
Yeah, it was a little trailer. It's a little small trailer.
And it took so much work to get this trailer to even move because it was too heavy. The wheels were flat.
No, I'm not going to let you talk about my trailer. My trailer is
Your trailer was raggedy. All right, so Cara says, what if your mate don't communicate? What causes this? Okay, so let's break down the first part. What if your mate doesn't communicate?
Right.
There can be several reasons why they don't communicate.
That's correct.
One of which is just how they're brought up.
Right.
The other part is men typically don't communicate well, period. And if you think about it, as women, as mothers, we don't teach our sons, well, we do now, but men were taught, don't cry, don't be all emotional, don't be this, don't be that.
Yeah, but I think when people say that, though, I think that in some ways that's disingenuous, because just because you don't think somebody's communicating doesn't mean they're not communicating. You may not understand how they're communicating, because people have different definitions of what communicating is and what they expect it to be.
Okay, so not to interrupt, but when you talk about communication, you were communicating with me for a long time.
Correct.
But I wasn't hearing your communication because I thought you were going to communicate the way I thought you were going to communicate, or the way I communicate.
So this person saying, "What if your mate doesn't communicate?" They may, in fact, be communicating.
Well, actually, everybody's communicating something,
right?
So your mate is communicating something, but sometimes we're too loud, or sometimes we are not listening to how they communicate.
And you miss it,
and you're missing it. And they might not. They might not be confrontation, so they might not be arguing.
Right.
But in another time, they may say something, and you just be like, "Oh, like I did at the Cedric," because he's a big guy. He would say little stuff, and I kind of dismissed it because I just thought he was saying something. But later on, he was telling me what he wanted me to hear, but I wasn't listening because it wasn't the way I thought that he should communicate, which is a problem. And what can cause this? Some of which, if he communicates with you and you shut him down, then you won't get anything else. If your response is crazy.
Or it could be something you don't want to hear. You're like, well, no, that's not what he's saying.
Right.
Right. Because people want a yes man or agree with them, and they're like, well, he can't be not agreeing with me. So, no, that ain't what he's saying. He's saying this.
Well, and you could be on two different spectrums too. Because times I thought it was really great, Cedric thought it was just horrible, and vice versa. So
she said disregard that.
Oh, okay. All right.
We got you, Brandon.
Yes, but it can be annoying. Yes, and it can be annoying, but this is the problem. You have to take time.
Right.
So this is okay. So we're going back to this sitcom, how they develop the characters.
Right.
Because if you, whatever show you watch, if they tell you the whole plot, then it's going to ruin it. You're not going to watch it every week. But you have to continually invest in your marriage to develop the character. Now, Cedric helped me develop myself and things I had in me, things I needed to get rid of, things I needed to build upon. But that was after 5 years when we realized that it is not about, we were on our own teams. We weren't playing together at all.
Well, the thing I would say too is the thing about that too is just like stuff that you have around the house is perceived value. Because if you say I'm keeping this trinket because of whatever the case may be, and your spouse is like, no, you got one over here that's the same thing, you can get rid of it. You need to change your mind. Like, okay, well maybe it's not valuable. I get rid of it. It's the same thing with your emotional baggage.
So Ronald says it can be annoying. Then Kara says I'm annoyed. But you know that if you're annoyed, you put off that you're annoyed.
Right.
And for men, for them to let them their guard down and share their heart, because sometimes they don't think it sounds crazy, because we used to women saying, I feel like this, but if you have a man be like, I feel, you be like, okay, wait a minute. So that's not what they're used to doing. You want them to share, but our responses and our, people say energy, I don't know what they call it now.
Yeah, that too.
Energy, attitude.
A lot of times they say that you get back the energy that you put out. So if you putting out energy that you're annoyed, then more than likely your significant other is annoyed as well.
I don't know what else to do after 8 years of being together. But this is the thing, you may not be doing the right thing. So the number of years don't make it
right
that it's going to be over. Because it was 5 years before we even started to listen to each other and effectively communicate. And it was like year 10 when we got it together.
Well, this is the thing too. It's all about perspective. Like when you have a child that doesn't know something and you're trying to teach them something, you have a lot more patience and you're a lot more long suffering. Well, you have that same attitude toward your spouse. They should know how to talk to me after all these years. They should know. But if they don't know it and you haven't communicated to them how to do it, you can't be annoyed with somebody for something they don't know.
Right.
You have to be more patient and long suffering.
But take time to ask him, why do you think that we don't talk well, or don't communicate, or argue less, whatever your issue is. Right. But it has to be a time that you're not already in full of tension. Right. Because listen, it never goes over well when you already into it.
Well, but like you said, everything that you do when it comes to that has to be from a place of love. It can't be from that place of annoyance.
Right.
Brandy says, why do we communicate so much before marriage? Then once you get married, we don't talk like we used to. Well, it's a number of things. Number one, before you get married, most of the stuff that you talk about is superfluous. It's not meaningful.
It's superfluous. Okay.
Yes, it's nothing. You're not talking about anything of real substance most of the time. And not only that, once you get married, real life kicks in. You got bills, you got kids. You trying to figure out the logistics of who gonna pick up this, who gonna do that, how's this gonna get done, and you neglect to work on the relationship because you're trying to get all of the mechanical stuff done. Who's gonna cook? Who's gonna pick up the kids? Who's gonna pay this bill? Who's gonna do that, this, that, whatever.
Well, the other part is the chase is over.
Right.
when you are dating, you talk because I'm trying to see if I really like this person.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. Right. You have some nasty freaky sex, do all this kind of crazy stuff that you may not, because people get married and say they don't even like sex anymore, which is nuts to me. I don't understand that whole thing. That's the purpose I got married, so I can have the sex as much as I want to.
Right, that's the wrong thing.
All right, thanks, y'all. I have work to do. Well, thank you for joining us.
Right, we appreciate you. Keep the questions coming.
Okay. So she's asking something.
Okay, Brand said, okay, so said, what if you communicate what you like and what you don't like, and they're still not hearing? Well, the thing like we just said, how are you communicating? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Correct.
So if you try it one way and that didn't work, go another way.
Right.
I give this example to Angie all the time. If one of your friends call you and say, hey man, look, I got $1 million for you. I just need you to come get it. But the way that you normally go is blocked. There's a big accident. You're going to find another way to get to that person's house to get that money.
Absolutely.
But if they call you again and say, hey, I got $1.50 for you.
Anyway, blocked. First of all, if it ain't even blocked, you ain't going for $1.50.
So again, that speaks to the value that you put on the relationship and what you're willing to do to get where you need to go. Because if something is important to you, you're going to find a way to get where you need to go. If there's $1 million waiting on you, you're going to crawl through the woods. You're going to cross the canal full of alligators. You're going to get to that money.
Yep.
And it should be the same way with your relationship. If he's not hearing me this way, then I'm going to go around the side. Okay, the side door is locked. I'm going to go around the back. Okay, that's locked. I'm going to get in through the window. I'm going to get in there one kind of way or another.
And see, that example to me opened my eyes. And it was on one of these broadcasts that it did. Because when you realize it's about the value you put on it,
right,
it'll change your opinion. Like, do I really value my marriage enough to work on it or put the extra effort or to, by any means necessary, make it work?
Right.
Because a lot of times, like I said, once we get married, it's kind of like, all right, we're married now.
Right.
And then it's like, we married and I got your name. But then it's kind of like it's not, you're not nurturing it. You're not steadily dating, you know. Like even during this time pandemic, my husband, I don't go nowhere. My husband, we let people we ain't dating as far as like going out, but we'll go for rides, we'll sit and do movies all night. But we still invest in each other. And that's important. And sometimes you have to hit reset. Like if sometimes you just you're gonna have periods where y'all can't communicate at all. You like, if I say A, he say Z. And if I say up, he say sideways. You like, wait a minute. Sometimes you have to say, baby,
you gotta call the truth.
You gotta hit reset and then say, baby, what is it that you want me to know or hear? Or how can I support you in this time of this season? What am I missing? Like if you say it with love, they'll heal your heart. But it's when you like, what's going on? What am I missing? What's wrong with you? He's not gonna receive that. And
already tuned out.
Boop.
Hold on, let me read that one.
Oh.
Brandon says, nice, cool, calm. So now I got to get ratchet. That's what you're saying.
No, that's not we said the opposite.
Well, but see, it's a lot of factors that go into it. Every man is different.
Correct.
But you can't be trying to communicate that sometimes while the game is on, or when you're already upset about something. If you had a stressful day at work, he don't want to hear about what you got going on. Like, it depends. Timing is everything. How you say it. Sometimes you got to use different words, different methods. Sometimes you do it at night when you pillow talking, or sometimes even after sex works. It just depends on your particular spouse. You just got to figure it out.
That's usually, but after sex is usually a pretty good time because usually you guys have released and y'all just chilling, and then they're a little more open to receive in that moment.
Right. Montreal says, do you believe a marriage can survive even if the communication is not that effective? Well, the answer is yes, but the communication has to get better.
No, but you say can't survive.
It can.
You'll be roommates.
Right.
It won't be a marriage.
Well, the question was, can it survive? And the answer is yes.
It can.
Right.
But first of all, it's not going to be a great marriage. It's not going to be
that's not
anything.
What it is.
I know. I'm just saying it's not going to be anything pleasant. And most time it won't make it because we are built to communicate.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about that because a lot of people that I'm married and have been married a long time and don't communicate. So that's not true.
Oh yeah, you're right. So you're gonna have so yes, and you'll have a
you can always work on it. It can always get better. It's never too late to work on it to make it right.
Okay. So yes, it can survive, but it's not gonna be a nice one.
Say the game is always on.
Lord Jesus, Brandon, the game ain't always on.
No, the game ain't always on. We had during this pandemic, there was what 3 months with no sports.
With no sports,
4 months.
So what did you do in those 3 months when there were no sports?
I mean, absolutely none.
Like
it was so sad,
and everybody was home. What did you do?
Right, that was a perfect time to, get what you need to get and see what you need to see.
But listen, when Cedric and I was at the worst, I told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again because it's always impactful. When Cedric and I was at the worst part, like we were just like I thought we was finna exit stage left. It was bad, and I remember praying. I was just like, Lord, I can't do this. Blah 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 blah. I was just praying and crying to the Lord, and He told me to do what I'm supposed to do, regardless of what He does. And at first I was kind of like, okay. No, I said okay, but I didn't know what that meant. And then it was like he was really to speak like go cook dinner, and because like if I cook dinner, I fix his plate. That's just what I do. That's who I am. And so when I started to do that, do those things, the things that I would normally have done if we were in a good place, or the wife I wanted to be, I had to still be that wife. Even when I didn't feel like he was being that husband, whether it was in my mind or whether it was what the Bible say, either one, instead of us fighting about it, I took it to God. And so in those moments, I remember the first time I cooked him dinner after when we were when I tell you we were heated, we weren't even really speaking. And I took him dinner cooked him dinner and I took it to him, fix his plate. And he looked at me crazy. And then the first thing he said was, "What you did to this food?"
Right.
And I was like, nothing. It was so funny because I was so busy talking to the Lord, they threw me for a loop. Like, what you mean?
Yeah, you finna kill me.
And then this is him. Richmond Heights was all the way through and through.
Try first. Take a bite first. Take a bite.
So he made me bite and eat some of the food first because he really thought I had done something to that food.
Look, as bad as it was between us, you fixing plating, no. No, sir.
And I get it because it wasn't a bad place.
No, sir.
Don't do that.
They don't kill me.
So I had to eat the food first, but that was fine. But then he started to see me change regularly, and he would poke the bear. He would say stuff, do something, like he was trying to see if it was really
real.
He would just, he was antagonizing me, I would say.
I didn't know what you had going on. I thought maybe you had a boyfriend. You were trying to get the insurance money and what was going on? I'm trying to figure it out.
Said that wasn't nice. You right. Listen, but Brandy, it was real bad. Like he would be like, "Oh, so now you trying to be a wife?" Like it was. He has, my husband has the worst slick mouth you can ever have.
Me?
He's better, but slick mouth still come out regularly.
No. Me?
So let me tell you how he embarrassed me.
No, I got love in my heart.
Let me tell you how he embarrassed me the other day. So we were out. We went somewhere. My son in the back seat. So we took him to Wendy's, and then he was going to get something. So then Cedric said,
"No, he wasn't getting something."
No, listen. No, before we got there. So Cedric said, "Get him. Do you want to give him the 4 for $4?" Somebody said, "Yeah, whatever." So then we get to the window. Now I'm just chilling back, and then Cedric look at me for the money. He don't want to dig his card or whatever. So I said, "How much is it?" And then Cedric looks at me talking about, "It's a 4 for $4."
That's not what I said.
What you said? And the man,
I said, Angie, it's 4 for $4, so it's $40.
You didn't say no $4. He said, Angie, it's
4 for
$4. Like he was scolding me.
I was scolding you.
So then the man in the window is hard down laughing. So I wanted to push him down. That's the first thing.
Push me down.
Not you, the man in the window, because he was hard down laughing. You ain't even in this car. So then my son in the back seat said, "Dad, you hurt Mom's feelings." "Shut up, boy." I said, "How you gonna tell the boy shut up? Because he tell you the truth." And so he said I was heated for the rest. I still talked and communicated.
No, you didn't.
Yes, you asked me a question. I answered.
You was like this, looking out the window, like you had lost your best friend. You gonna do such and such? Yes.
I answered. I communicated.
Are you gonna? No.
I communicated. I communicated. So whether it's what you wanted to hear, I communicated.
That wasn't what I wanted to hear. I apologize. But I mean, I thought it was pretty straightforward. It was 4 for 4, so it's $4.
But I was telling him I wasn't paying attention, and when he said, "Well, I was just doing other stuff," I didn't even expect to be giving him money.
You weren't doing anything. You was in the passenger seat, just daydreaming. You weren't doing anything.
Well, if I was daydreaming, whatever it was, I wasn't paying attention to what was going on.
You weren't doing anything.
But the fact that him and this little white man in the window was hard down laughing.
I wasn't laughing. I wasn't laughing at all.
See, do you even believe him? I wasn't laughing at all.
I'm laughing now. I wasn't laughing then.
He was laughing. And then I told him, I said, you can't be telling my son to shut up when he tell you what's right. He knows not how we communicate. Dad, you hurt mom's feelings.
How I said your name? I said Angie. It's 4 for 4.
But even at that, he
so
told
what was
you.
Wrong with that?
We about to have a commercial break.
I was trying to tell you how much it was.
But when my child told you hurt mom's feelings, you don't tell him to shut up when he telling you right thing.
Getting grown folk business.
No, grown folks don't
stay in the child place.
Anyway, so fast forward. We're gonna fast forward to
listen.
Hey,
I tell you, you've been fixing my plate for so long. You know, you go out of town and stuff. Sometimes I don't eat because I don't want to fix no plate. I'm just gonna watch TV.
It's funny. Sometimes I say, "Hey, Sid, come in for a minute," and then I make him get his plate while he's in the kitchen. Gotta be tired. And once he get there, he be like, "What you need me here for?" He was looking at me like,
"Really?
I think
really?
Give me y'all steps to effective communication." Ooh.
Well, that's different for everybody, but
I like it.
What are steps?
Well,
lots of the sex.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of married people don't have sex, and that's so weird to me. But they don't have sex.
I know, it is weird, isn't it?
I mean, I'm not being funny, but that's what when you're younger, you gonna get married, you have a kid, you have, like you do grown people stuff.
So you waiting to get married so you can have some sex, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Lord have mercy.
We gotta stop fixing plates. I do the same, right? Listen, I fix his plate, Brandy. If I don't fix it, he be, because I have an autoimmune disease. So now when I cook, sometimes my hands hurt, things like that. So I just go sit down, I'm tired. And girl, sometimes he be sitting there looking like, food done? I said, yeah, it's done. It's in there.
That's how you gonna do me?
Look. So he wait till my pain medicine kick in, or I get back. And sometimes I just like, let me go fix the boy plate. Because he just sit there looking like a sick puppy.
See, I ain't never do you like that. I'd be concerned about you.
And you're gonna sit there and starve. Until I fix you a plate. That's awful. So I would say the first thing is listening.
Right.
I know people think communication just means you gotta talk, but listening.
But how do you listen?
Which is what?
No, I'm saying if you're listening, but you're formulating your head what you want to say.
Listen, that ain't what I'm talking. I ain't talking about doing no argument. I'm saying listening. Everybody is communicating all day, every day.
Yeah.
So, are you hearing what they're communicating? Is the thing.
And sometimes it's nonverbal too.
So they're communicating all day.
Mm-hmm.
Body language, roll of the eyes, roll of the neck. Him ignoring the stank out of you.
Not coming straight home from work.
Not wanting to be with you. Going in the opposite room as you. Doing everything they can to avoid. It's communication.
Everything to avoid being with you.
But, okay, so I'm saying, sorry. All right. I fixed it. I played. Look. Look, I just did it just right before we came on here. The same thing I did. Fix everybody plate. But I did this. Usually I don't eat nothing, but this time I did.
You did. I thought the boys fixed their own plate. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
I did the chicken. I cut it up with the gravy on it.
I ain't paying attention.
They did get the yams themselves, but I had warmed them up in the microwave because they had been out of the oven for a while. So they did put some things together.
Was that beefing when you left? There was something beefing in there.
With your ears, right? Like, how do you listen with your ears?
I wasn't saying that, Brent. Yeah. I'm saying if you're thinking when you're having a conversation with somebody,
Miss Francine,
if you're thinking about what you're going to say next, then you're not listening. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, so when I say listen,
intently, right?
When I say listen, the definition of listening is to pay attention to what the other person is saying verbally or non-verbally, without formulating a response or waiting for them to hush to say something. So sometimes people are talking and you don't hear all of what they're saying because you're ready to jump in and tell them how all their points weren't right or this is wrong, blah, blah.
Right.
So that is,
not listening.
And so that's the first thing. And if you have a hard time remembering those things, jot them down so that you can, I would say, ponder on them first before you respond.
Ponder.
I
like that. Ponder.
I think you should, because if you don't, sometimes what you say is what you mean, but you can't take back some stuff you say sometimes. And
no, but sometimes you say some things you don't mean.
Right, that's true.
In the heat of the moment when emotions run high. Yeah.
Like it's a 4 for 4.
I'm gonna leave that right there.
That you have far superior intellect?
No, that is a 4 for 4. You didn't know how much it cost.
I like you. So I guess the next thing would be, so you're listening and paying attention, meaning that you're gathering information. Just like if you were doing a study.
Right.
If you were studying the growth of this plant, you put a seed in the ground, you water it. You have to watch to see what steps it takes, where it goes. Like there's different stages. You have to watch to see what stages you're in. Sometimes, I don't know if I might get this wrong, and so you can correct me because you're Mr. Scientist. If things are like if something's planted wrong or it gets too big for the bucket, you have to take it out and replant it or repot it or whatever the case may be.
True.
Sometimes your marriages get too big for where it is, your attitudes, your emotions. And sometimes you gotta just, all right, we already married, but let's go put in this new pot and we're gonna start fresh. And I know we try to give visuals because people I hear what you're saying, but how does that look? And you don't necessarily understand how it looks in real life.
Well, I was just thinking about us. I think it's important to do that regurgitation thing, because a lot of times you hear what the person is saying, but you process it a certain type of way because you've been through a certain set of circumstances in your life. So if someone tells you something, you say, okay, so what I heard you say was X, Y, Z. And they'll be like, no, I'm saying A, B, C. I'm like, well, dog, what did I get X, Y, Z?
Let me tell you something. And when we do marriage counseling or premarital counseling, when we have a couple that say that because usually even if you're dating or you're engaged, there's always something that is unresolved, that you kind of push aside because you're happy you're getting married, but then there's something going on. So what happens is they'll be saying whatever. I remember one time this guy was telling his heart and say, so what did you hear him say? And she was like, that he gonna do what he want to do anyway. It was like,
no.
He said nothing like that.
No.
So then you see that she had already formulated in her mind, so she didn't listen to anything he said, because what he was saying was that he had some trouble in the past. This area was important to him, so it's important that they work through this together, because they got to move forward together, and he can't do it by himself, and he doesn't want to relive his childhood. When you hear people say, what I heard you say, and it says something totally different, they are absolutely not listening to you.
Right.
They've made their opinion, they've formulated their opinion, and they're not listening to you at all.
But that's a good practice to have, so you can make sure that you are, in fact, hearing exactly what they're trying to say.
But that's not just in marriage, though. Like, if you got somebody else and you say, what I heard you say is blah, 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 blah. Right. Because, like, when he was saying something about respect, his idea of respect was different than mine.
Right.
So when I say about when he used the word respect, I thought it was one thing. It was something different to him. Sorry. So I had to be clear that what that looks like. And so when I used to tell people when I had gotten better, I was respecting him now. And then one day he was like, "You telling people that you ain't respect me?" And I was like, "What? I'm this." So I asked him. I said, "Well, what does respect look like to you?" And when he listed it, I wasn't doing none of them. But in my mind, respect was something else. Right. So you have to know what it is to that person. And Bontrail saying, "This is good." I appreciate it.
Right. Thank
Look, you. we want to give to people because somebody poured into us.
Right. Brandon says, "I just feel like being married, we're closer than ever, so it should be easy to talk and understand each other. Knowing the other person likes and dislikes and don't understand why communicating is so hard, it's annoying to me. Am I tripping?"
Okay. So, Brandy, I don't know for sure. But what happens a lot of times when people get married, they feel like it's just going to be this easy road.
Right.
And yes, we are the closest now because we are married and we are one. But you have to become one.
Right. You have to remember you're bringing two individuals together to be one.
Two upbringings, two traumas, two heartbreak, births, death, parents, you know, you bringing everything from each other's background to make one. So I don't understand all of me, but now I got to become one with Cedric and his stuff too.
Right.
So I don't know me fully, but now I got to become one with you. Right. It's very difficult. And that's what I said. People they'll put money into the marriage. They'll put money into family photos, the wedding, family photos. They'll put money, but they don't put money in premarital counseling. They don't put money in marital counseling. Right. I mean, people just feel like we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And when they finally come to us, it's because they're about ready to kill each other.
You learn a lot of things going along in your life, but being married is not one of them.
Right. Because even if my parents been married for 60 years, you don't understand what happens behind closed doors. Right. You don't understand. Just like your parents used to say stuff when you were younger, you didn't understand. Like, don't be outside barefoot when it's cold, or just keep on an undershirt, or whatever your parent used to tell you. You didn't understand it as a child.
Right.
But as an adult, you find yourself saying the same things that your parents said. Oh, I'm sorry. Saying the same things your parents said.
Right.
And now you understand there was a process, but you don't understand until you become that parent. And so now when you get married, people tell you the Bible stuff. When you get married, you become one. Let no man put asunder. It's you and him against the world. Like, they give you all these now, the bed is undefiled. All those things you hear. You don't hear that it's gonna get better. It's gonna get worse before it get better.
Right.
You're gonna have to learn your spouse on another level once you get married. You're gonna have to learn to put limits and boundaries on your relationship with your in-laws that family will overstep. And now it's my job with my family to address it, and it's his job with his family to address it. No one tells you these things. It's not a Bible scripture that tells you that. This is practical living that you learn and you get from other people. Like, I don't know if you saw the post I did. My Phyllis and Jerry been married yesterday was 40 years. And we were laughing yesterday because when people come to us, they be like, "Oh, Miss Angie, you and Mr. Said don't understand." And we laugh because she was talking about she talked about last night how when they were telling us to do something, I was so mad with Cedric. I was like, "I ain't doing that. It ain't gonna work." She was like, "You weren't even gonna pretend like you was gonna do it." We've been there. We've been to that point where we didn't see any hope. I didn't think that we could make it. I didn't think that it could be healthy. I didn't think any of those things. You couldn't have paid me $1 million to believe Cedric would be who he is right now. I mean, even me calling him and telling him about my day or something happens, even when he's busy, he listens. Ciao, bye.
Definitely one about that phone life.
He's still not a phone person. However, he is so much better now. Like, he's not the person that's gonna just sit on the phone. But like, if I call him, he'll call back. Because
for
he used to do that because he be working and he ain't look. And now it's so funny because now I get it. I be like, babe, I'm calling her back, and now I forget till later on.
Right, you be doing me dirt.
Like listen,
that's that get back.
And now he be like, oh, so you still doing such and such? I be like, my bad, babe.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
But I've always loved you, honey. I'm gonna say Whitney. No, don't do it.
No. Don't alabaster box me. Don't do it.
So listening.
So you supposed to be giving her the
steps. We are. Okay. I mean, but you got to understand the steps.
Right. Well, I was thinking what's important.
Hold on, listening. It was paying attention without waiting to respond.
Right.
Regurgitating what you heard the person say.
Right.
Making sure you fully understand
what they're saying.
Right. Because their definition may not be your definition. Because what was in their household growing up may not be yours. I know for me, even when life brings you trouble, I don't know how long I've been married, Brandy, but when life brings you trouble or heartache, I know we had done well for a while. But I remember when my brother died, that was a whole nother shift in our communication in our marriage because Cedric, like I said, he's not a big phone person. But then if he didn't answer, because I had called my brother and he had been killed in a motorcycle accident and he didn't answer the phone. So then when I called Cedric and he didn't answer, I would freak out. And so, yes, he could say, who cares? But, tragedy brings different forms of communication as well. And I went through a stupid grieving process for a long time. But long. But you walked me through it though. I mean, you didn't say that, oh well, I'm not doing such and such and such. You just kind of like, well, I'm here and whatever we need to do, he did it. So I can't be mad at him because he was there for me the entire time. So
that's commitment, yeah.
It is.
That's a long time.
But like since we've been together, we've had a lot of deaths.
Yeah.
Because you had your brother, your grandma, your great grandma, somebody else.
Aunt Julia.
Yeah.
She died like 2 days after my grandma.
And then I had my grandma, my granddaddy, my brother. Oh, who somebody died?
Your auntie.
My auntie. We've had a lot of deaths. That's just a closer version of people. We've had people that were cousins and stuff that were not as close, but we've had a lot of things. But tragedy also can bring you closer together, or it can isolate you.
Yeah.
And when you have that tragedy, if like when Cedric didn't cry, he didn't show an expression, but I can tell. Oh, his best friend. And that was the hardest for me when his best friend passed because he didn't cry, but I know it was doing something to him that I couldn't fix. There was nothing, you can't make a meal for that. You can't hug you enough. You can't, just when you finally got somebody that you feel like is genuine and that is there for you. Y'all had business ventures y'all were going to do. And, you guys had just enjoyed each other. And so now that your best friend's gone, what am I gonna say? I mean, how do you fix that? So that one I think was the worst. I think, but to say the least, in tragedy, like I couldn't fix it, but I was just there. I remember I just was used to sit by him, ask me anything. I would just rub his head, like I just rub back his head, or I would just do something like rub his beard. Like I do this when we sitting by each other anyway. But I would just do stuff. So it was like my hand was on him to tell him that I'm here. But no words could fix that at all. But my touch communicated something to you.
Right. What I was going to say was a big turning point, I think, in my mind too, was when we started doing the progress reports.
Yes.
Because in my mind, what that tells me is that the other person is really not only concerned, but willing to do something about what I need, what I like, and make strides toward that. So at that point, I'm really willing to communicate because they're trying to do something.
So Brandy, this is for you. So let me explain it. Hold on, Laura, we're gonna get to you.
Yeah, take it off.
So what he just said was a turning point for him as a man was when we started doing the progress reports, because it showed that we were invested, that I wanted to be a better wife, and we wanted to do better. So a progress report is you set your time frame every month or
whatever
time for you, but you have a conversation to see the things that is bothering the other person. Like for real, not with an attitude. Right. And then you actively work on those things because it's not going to happen overnight.
What do you need from me to be a better wife, to make your life better so that we can be closer?
And I did the same thing to him.
Right.
And then like in a month, or I'm saying a month, but sometimes we'll be like, okay, so how am I doing on my changes?
Right.
And sometimes he'll be like, I see some, but I see you do a little bit, but it's not consistent. And it was hurtful because times I thought I was doing a whole lot. He would tell me no, like that wasn't it. Right. And so it took a lot, but I want you to pay attention because this is a man telling you when he found out that I was invested to be better, to do better, to be who he needed me to be, then that's when there's a turning point for him.
Right.
And that's just a man that's coming forward with that.
Right. I'm ready for the communication now.
Okay.
All right, Laura. Laura says, how do you communicate insecurities without pushing the other person away?
Okay, Laura, so I need to know what kind of insecurities. Are you saying like you have trust issues with him, or just trust issues in general? Because I can tell Cedric my insecurities, like I don't like the way my big forehead, or I don't like my deep voice. Those are insecurities.
Well, I think you're talking about how do you talk about it. So,
well, I'm saying, but it depends on what it is.
Well, it really doesn't, because if it's something they're doing, you come from the place of love, number one, and you do this when it's not a heated time. But the way you approach that is say, okay, baby, look, when you do X, Y, Z, it makes me feel like ABC.
That's a formula that you do.
Right. No one can argue about how something makes you feel. Nobody can tell you your feelings. So it's not an accusatory thing. You're just saying, okay, when you do this, I'm not saying what your motives are behind what you're doing. I'm just saying when that thing happens, it makes me feel this way.
So, but I'm reading this question something different, because she said, how do you communicate your insecurities without pushing away? Because sometimes when I tell you, it was a time where I used to tell you stuff that bothered me, not about you, just like and you was just like, oh my God, it was too much, because I was just telling you stuff all the time. Right. So that I didn't take it as insecurities about him, that your person's okay. Okay, she said,
yeah. Trust issue in general, new relationship, but rooted from past hurt.
But I'm saying, so that's not necessarily him, right? But that's what I'm saying, like just telling things that in the past I've had relationships that.
Well, I'm saying, but it's still the same thing, because you can say, even though you didn't do this thing, but in the past when this happened, it made me feel this way. So that can keep that person from going down that same road.
Well, listen, so we had this issue as well. Right. I know y'all think we had all the issues, but we probably did. But we had this as well, because the relationship I was in previous, when he did certain things, he had another motive. And so every time Cedric did certain things, I would just automatically be on him like he's doing it. And I had to stop punishing Cedric for what someone else did. Right. And so although you can relay your insecurities to him, you have to work on you. Right. Because you can't be 10 years down the line still with your same insecurities.
Right. You gotta learn how to let them go.
There's insecurities that I had that I don't have anymore. Right. You may come up with some new insecurities later,
but I helped in that process too, because I wasn't cutting the monkey.
In the beginning, you were, though.
No, but I wasn't like cheating on you or nothing like that.
No, not cheating. I'm saying, but well, you talking about that? You talking about the process of?
Well, I'm saying just because if you have insecurities and your new relationship, the new person is doing those same things, their insecurity is not going to go away. They're going to get stronger and more.
So your spouse has to contribute to the
Right.
process.
That's what I'm saying. So you'd have been even more deep set with it because, well, now not just one, but two, three jokers done did it. So you feel like every man does that. So, I mean, like you said, you still have to work on yourself.
I tell you, it's hard because
Right.
people want to just, they think the other person is going, like you see the movie, you complete me. No, you have to be whole in order to come into this marriage. Two whole people,
Right.
in order to.
What was the thing that they had at Joshua Generation? Remember about being the victim? I forget what it was.
It wasn't him. It was
was.
Tony. It was a victim or victorious.
No. The one that they had where they said you have to own it or something, or was that own it? I think that was them.
Own it. Own it.
Yeah, your past and deal with it.
Own it. Yeah.
All right. Fish Grease One says my wife is so distant after her best friend passed and grandmother during the same time frame. But yeah, everybody grieves in a different way, and unfortunately, there's no timetable or limit to grieving. So all I can say is just hang in there and be there for them.
Hey, Chelsea.
Hey, what's up, Chelsea? Shauna Brown says.
Hold on. So I want to go here first. So everybody grieves differently, like Cedric was saying, but everybody needs something different.
Right.
Because like you can't, if she's snappy or acting out, not even doing crazy, but like if she is out of her normal character, find how you can support her. Mm-hmm. If it's something that you know that makes her laugh, maybe start watching a movie, some kind of comedy. Even if it's like if you normally go to bed at a certain time, you have to change it. You have to learn how to adapt. And I know even times when I've been sad, even recently, Cedric could put on a movie and it might be a work night, but we end up watching a movie because he knew I needed something changed. Right. And it's not something, magical words, and it helps. So being present, being there, comforting, just see what she needs. And sometimes you have to just say, hey, how can I help you through this? Mm-hmm. Sometimes they need grief counseling. Yeah. Like sometimes it's not just a quick fix. Yeah, sometimes you
need some real help.
Sometimes they need medicine.
Yeah.
Through that process. I'm not being funny, but people grieve hard and deep. And that's one of the things I went through with my brother. It was a struggle. And so you have to just take time to ask them. And when she cry, hold her. Ain't no magical wand that's gonna fix it. But just be present. And we'll be praying for your wife because
that's tough.
When you got your best friend and your grandmother, each one of them are separate, but then on top of that, it is very difficult. But you got to have a conversation. Just, hey, how can I help you through this process? What can I do to be there? What can I do to make your life easier? And sometimes it be as simple as saying, sometimes it was just a matter of Cedric taking out the meat when I got home, or make sure it's defrosted. Shut your mouth. He's so nasty. I said taking out the meat and he goes somewhere left. Defrosting something, whatever it was.
How nasty
it was just little things. Okay.
I don't know what that means, but
hey, Shauna. We ain't seen Shauna in a minute. Shauna, you hiding from us?
What Shauna is that? That the one that call us Angie?
No, Shauna, the one she been on Black Love forever.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought that was Angie.
You got somebody call us Sanji, said Angie.
Laura says thank you.
You're welcome. New relationship. Okay. Chelsea says, say that, Cedric.
It is.
Thank you. Hey, y'all. Okay. So, there's what we like to say, there's a magical wand, but it's not.
Who like to say that? I don't like to say that.
I mean, not like to say it. What people think it's a magical wand. When you get married, people think that when you get the years, they feel like if I can, because people tell you if you can make it through the first year, then you hear if you can make it through 5 years. Then there is no it's people that have been married 20 years that
30 years then get divorced.
Listen, but it's the thing. Cedric and I have people that come to us that have been married much longer than us. It don't mean we super anything, but we took time to invest and actually apply what we learned. That's the whole thing. If you're gonna learn something, apply it.
Yeah, we learned a lot of somethings.
And we had to apply them, and they ain't always work. Sometimes it was a big fail because we like. There's a thing called the sandwich method. When you want to tell somebody that's something that's not so nice, you tell them something, babe. I just appreciate how you take care of the house and do for us. It's like you are a great husband. And then when you say something like, babe, but sometimes when you talk to me, you talk very harsh and you're very snappy, and it doesn't make me feel like we're a team. And then you come behind that because that was not so nice, and then just say, I'm so glad I married you, blah blah blah. Like it's a sandwich. You say nice things, and then you tell something that's not so pleasant.
In the middle.
The problem is with the sandwich method, people thought in the middle you could just say, you get on my nerves, and your mama's ugly, and your cousin look crazy, and your cockeyed. You be like, wait a minute. You can't go off in the middle. It was finding the nicest way to say what was not so nice in the middle. So you sandwich it so it doesn't seem so bad.
Right.
But we failed at the sandwich method for a long time. That sandwich method was awful. We was like,
that's why you got a club foot.
You so silly. Brandon say thank y'all.
Thank you.
No,
man,
thank
for the
you.
topic.
Because we often I lost my train of thought. We often something. What else I say? You supposed to know my mind by now. We often what?
Need topics.
That's not what I was going to say. No, we need people that will talk back to us and tell us, because some of the stuff we don't deal with it like that anymore. So we forgot some stuff until y'all say something.
Right.
We be like, oh yeah, that was one of the stages. Chelsea.
Those year milestones don't mean a thing. There can be a whole lot of dysfunction just solidified more in those years.
Yes.
You are right. You have to apply those things you learn to do better.
Yes. And that's the thing. I think people think if I can make it to this year, then we good. No, if you don't apply that stuff, it means
we
nothing.
made it 5 years, and our junk was raggedy.
Boy, when I tell you raggedy,
it was bad.
You couldn't have paid me to believe we would have made it past some years. Like, we didn't talk. He didn't like me
at all.
Like, and we being in a relationship and your spouse does not like you is a horrible feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're not their first choice, or there was another motive for marrying you. That would have to be the worst, not to be wanted. Mm-hmm. And I remember you not liking me, and you around people, you could tell somebody don't like you, and to live with somebody don't like you. I said the worst thing you can be is married and lonely. Mm-hmm. Because if you single and lonely, you can look for love and whatever. But you married and lonely, you stuck. Stuck like Chuck.
Brandon says sandwich mess sounds like a cover up of the BS. It can be. No,
it's not. That's about communication. You have to learn how
to do it properly.
This is how we're teaching you how to do it properly. Because it could be BS, but do you want somebody to point out your faults, rough, rugged, and raw all day, every day?
Right.
It might be a season when you messing up. Do you want him to give you the business every time, or do you want him to tell you some of the positive things you do, and then tell you some things that he feels like probably need to be
but
changed?
That's the thing, and that's one thing too. I think that's lacking in the marriages is that people are not honest with each other. It's your job as your significant other to make them a better person. So you can't let them skate with doing foolishness. Like, hey, you need to tighten up in this area.
Right.
And I'm not trying to belittle you. I'm trying to help you be the best version of you can be.
But you can't hit me with all negatives.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying sometimes, like, we've had couples where it's like, so what's it? No, everything's good. She's perfect.
Oh my God.
Everything's fine. No, nigga, she ain't perfect. It ain't no way.
Listen, you acting the donkey.
Right.
You out in these streets hoeing. You acting the donkey. You doing everything else but coming home. But then when you ask what's wrong, oh, it's perfect. No, there's something going on. There's no perfect person ever. So I know that that's not the truth, because you can't have a perfect person.
Right.
Chelsea, is that the one you read?
Oh yeah, that's the next one. Chelsea, they say when folks know better, they do better. I think they do better when they want to do better and are willing to put in the work to make it happen. or the cost is too high not to change. That's correct.
Yes, they want to do better because they know
That's
better.
from too. Hashtag stuck. Yeah,
Stuck.
you can't make a grown person do anything. They have to be willing and able.
But that stuck is the worst feeling ever.
Yeah. Say it, Brandy. It does happen that way sometimes.
You know what?
Brandon say, not liking her. What did she do? Because we both look mean and speak our mind. Have a strong personality.
Yeah, and that was it.
That was one of the reasons.
He was used to women that was like, said it was an athlete, and all the girls be like, big sad, big sad. I was like, nigga, I got my own thing too. I was her too. So whatever you thought you was, I'm her. Yeah. So you wanted me to cater to you, nigga. I'm used to people cater to me. And so that whole I want you to cater to me and you want me to cater to you, I wasn't ready, he wasn't ready.
Nah, it wasn't just that.
So what was it?
You were a busybody.
What's busybody?
That means you always somewhere. Doing something you got no business.
So you want somebody to sit home? Go ahead.
No, I ain't saying
what else? Home. Come on, elaborate.
You ain't got to beat the doors open. Be there.
Okay, so you already said my mouth. That's number and one. Busybody.
You talking crazy?
What's talking crazy? Brandon said being direct and speak our mind, strong personality.
It wasn't that. You just being disrespectful in the streets.
What?
That was it. You was out here doing things you got no business.
I was being disrespectful. Okay, that's go ahead.
2, and I can't think of all the other stuff. It was a bunch of stuff. I had a whole list.
You had a whole list?
Yeah. But you don't do that stuff no more, so you straight.
Hashtag BS sandwich. No, Chelsea. Don't say BS sandwich. Sandwich method. Don't put the B. Don't let Brandy have you with the BS. It is sandwich method.
Brandy done
messed it up. Brandy, you messing up the whole thing.
She scandalized the sandwich method out here in these streets.
Right. It is sandwich method.
That is a legitimate technique that is useful, and you have delegitimized it and bastardized it.
Listen, sandwich method is something that we teach people. One of the techniques. And it worked. It worked for us. Now we fail, like I told him from the beginning. We fail sometimes, but boy, look at him.
Brandon said, no, you missed that one. Right here. Brandon said, my street name Busy B.
Listen, so Brandon, he was talking about me because I was in all that. Listen. He was used to women that was like, say what you want, say, yes, he was. And so, I gotta tell this story, y'all.
You gonna tell me what I'm used
to. So the first time we weren't really married yet, but we went to a comedy show. So he prepping me. I know everybody, blah, 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 whatever. I did this, I played basketball. He prepping me about the comedy show so I won't be insecure when he talking to everybody, whatever. We go in the comedy show. Everybody he talked to me. I know people. He's standing there waiting on me. This nigga mad talking about, I don't want nobody that know. Everybody know. So you don't prep me on the way up here because you don't know I'm that nigga in these streets too. I'm just saying. I'm saying the niggas I know.
So
the chicks
I know.
I just know people just like you was going. You was catering. You was telling me that I need to get my mind right. But I was just hurt too.
Telling you. I'm just letting you know.
I just joined. What's the sandwich? We're not gonna what the sandwich method is.
Right.
When you tell something nice, you tell something in the middle that's not so nice, and then you tell something else nice. Like you tell something they're doing good, something they may need to improve on, and then something else they're doing good. So it's not just negative. People receive stuff better that way.
Right.
And you learn how to talk to people. Oh, he said sandwich method.
Sandwich, right.
How I just say, I know the sandwich method works with kids. I'm just playing. Like, you don't join Brandy. Brandy's rogue right now. Brandy is who I used to be. I'm trying to get Brandy to come on this side. Brandy's not there right now. Yeah, Tracy did me like that. Listen. See, Brandy, when they think you just a lowly somebody, and then they didn't know you know in these streets, trying to give me your spiel. Yeah, you know people, but everybody you talk to,
I just know you be.
I would be Angie B.
Insecure out here in these streets.
But you know what though? I was her.
Everybody trying to get my number.
Hey.
The sandwich method does work with healthy people who can take constructive criticism. It takes a bit of humility to hear it, but you are right. It works. It does. You have to be in a certain place for the sandwich method.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, for sure. I say, exactly. We know.
Listen, whatever, Brandon. That's why he moved me down here. He didn't want to move up there because people know me everywhere.
Exactly. You already know. Look, I'm
wait a minute. You moved. You're not here anymore. You done moved out of these Orlando streets.
Mm-hmm. Moved from Richmond Heights, Florida.
Listen,
you already know.
Look, we done went over our time, but I'm telling you, marriage is the best thing now. But we went through years of hell to get to the best thing. And it don't mean we don't have problems. And I just told y'all he tried me at the Wendy's drive-thru.
I tried you because I'm telling you how much the 4 for $4 is. It's $4. Like that's a try.
You say it one more time.
That's a try.
Say it one more time.
I'm saying, how's that a
say
try?
Say it one more time. Say it.
How is that a try?
Did you say it in love? Did you give me a sandwich method?
I said Angie.
You did not.
And when I said Angie, that love just rolled off the tongue. Angie. It's 4 for $4.
Nigga. That's not what you said.
That's exactly what I said.
Oh, she said, I've been down here since 2012. Girl, I ain't know you. Well, listen. Wheresoever I go, people know me. Look, he clicked off yours. You seen how I clicked?
You don't care nothing about you. Be able to accept criticism or get shut down with the top bread of the sandwich.
It's an open face sandwich.
Yeah, nobody like open face. I don't want no open face.
It's an open face sandwich.
I want both breads. Both of them.
So, really quickly, how did you get to the place where you could receive the sandwich method, Cedric?
Like I said, it's once that I figured out that you were trustworthy. And that I knew that you were trying to be better and do better, then I can accept criticism from you. If I think that you think you got all your stuff together and you just want me to change and you think you're doing everything right, then I ain't trying to hear it.
Okay.
Everybody got to work.
I got work to do.
Got work to do. Really, Angie? Heavily discussing the 4 for 4.
I'm about to block you.
Look, you missed the story.
We're not gonna tell that story anymore because me and Cedric about to be on. We about to be back in the day with that.
Hey, she was asking me how much the 4 for 4 was.
That's not what happened.
Yeah.
We're not gonna tell no lie. We're not gonna tell no lie.
There you go.
Lord, see, Brandy, what you did with the BS sandwich. Now everybody else got these prerequisites for their sandwich. How the bread gotta be toasted, gotta be warm on the inside.
Right. And I want a special kind of bread.
Look, Brandon, tell my guy that said, listen, yeah, but Tracy gotta learn how to tell you the stuff because we different type chicks, Brandon. You can't just come stick out the mouth. And if he anything like this thing, he would say some crazy stuff. I'd be like, you know what? Mm-hmm. Is it chicken, ham, or turkey in the middle?
Whichever one you like best, cuz you got it.
You can have choice. Whatever you like.
Your church.
Child. So anyway, we're gonna go. We have been on here longer than we normally are. We enjoying this conversation though.
Yes. It was a good topic there, Brandy. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we need more topics. Send us one in the inbox. Been at work. Always want to do a progress. Listen, progress report. It'll save your life.
We're not gonna say yep, say it, that part.
Progress report will save your life because they know that you're invested in it.
Right.
Men want to know that you trying to change too. Don't be trying to tell me how to change if you ain't changing either.
Correct.
So when you start to ask them, how can you be a better wife and what can you do to,
even not only that, if you like I'm saying, if you think you got everything together and your husband know your junk raggedy, then that's a problem because, like I said, that you can't be trusted.
Well, hold on. Wonder Bread.
Keep you fed. Yes, sir.
I'm about to put Chelsea out too. I'm gonna put Chelsea out too.
Say good night, guys. Thank you for pouring out your wisdom and sharing your testimonies. God bless you both. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Subscribe to our channel. We're here every Monday at 7. Right. What's next Monday? It ain't Christmas, is it?
Christmas Friday, I think. Saturday,
so we'll see you next Monday. Maybe y'all can tell us how y'all Christmas went because this don't feel like Christmas right now with this quarantine and stuff. But
yeah, I think Christmas Friday, Sarah, one of them.
All right, so we getting ready to get off. Chelsea, it's good seeing you again. We appreciate everybody coming on. Renaka always coming on, starting trouble, and Brandy don't even know how to act right. Brandon, you got to come on over to this side because when you're on the dark side, it's like the good and evil on both sides. I done came over. You still over there trying to take me back to my former days.
Yes. Yes, don't do it.
Happy holidays. Yes, Merry Christmas, sweetie. Happy New Year. It won't be New Year by
It's
then.
Christmas, yeah.
Exactly. If you know your truth.
If I know your truth and you act like your skeleton's gone, that's no good.
Yeah. That's when they got a real problem. When they trying to pretend with the person in the house who know their junk ain't gone.
That's what I'm saying. That's the problem. You can't be trusted. So you're not gonna have real true communication like that because it's like
What's that?
hit him with the beatbox. Look him up and down one time with the side eye. Good. You know you ain't right.
All right. Good night. I'm gonna say a prayer real quick. I'm a work in progress. Keep progressing though.
Right.
But you're too funny. You remind me of me, Lord Jesus, help. Lord, we thank you for this night, this wonderful broadcast, Lord. We pray that each and every person that's on here is impacted by what we gave out, Lord, that you gave to us. Lord, that marriages will be changed, they will be reignited, they will be rekindled, Lord,
Yes.
and that they can refocus, Lord, on each other, Lord. For those who are single, that are learning methods, Lord, help them to be open, Lord, to learn what they need to learn before they get married, Lord, so that they're not trying to do so much damage control when they get married, Lord. For those who are married that are having problems, Lord, fix it tonight, Lord. Go in their house, Lord. Guide them, guide their mouth, guide their words, Lord. And if they're going to say something that's hurtful, Lord, close their mouth, Lord. We thank you right now for a good night. We thank you, Lord, for just keeping us alive during this pandemic because so many people are not here today, Lord. So we thank you for your protection. And we call tonight blessed. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen, y'all.
Peace. Have a good rest of the week.
Yes. And I'm going to get a 444.